Hi, I'm Aoife and I'm from here. So I'm Aoife, a musician here in Hamilton, and I've been here for several years making indie pop, indie rock, whatever my heart desires. I like to go write more so when I'm sad than happy. Usually a melody comes first, and I kind of call it a subconscious process where I just sing along with the melody and I start to pick out the words that are coming out of what I want to say. I don't think writing has to be difficult. I think it just needs to be relatable for you and for your audience. So I like to use metaphors every now and then. I even love to speak with them, but as long as I just get my feelings across, it could just be like I'm sad and I'm lonely. Simple as.
I like that song.
Thank you. My whole family from the beginning of time is from Ireland, but my parents actually immigrated here in the 90s. My brother and I were born here, but then we went back to Ireland and we were raised in Ireland. So that's how we had citizenship really quickly when the recession hit in Ireland and it was really bad. Irish people love the water, so we always stayed by the lake. But, first we started off in Mississauga. That was for a very hot second. And then we went to Burlington. Then I came to Hamilton for Mohawk College to study music. And then I stayed here. I grew up in a really musical household. My dad's a musician, my aunts, my grandparents. So I was always around that. And growing up in Ireland, you're in the pub and there's a sesh going on of folk music, and that's what inspired me. So yeah, my family and my culture, and then some good old Stevie. Me growing up, I heard music being expressed through Irish music and the hardship Ireland went through just during the war and oppression with England. And it was hard fucking times. And singing about that isn't there's gonna be some weight in that. So if you're listening to that over generations and your ancestors are singing like that, I think that's gonna carry on in you.
A lot of my music these days that I'm connecting to is about ancestry, about where I am, about where I'm from. I'm finding that in a lot of the music that I'm making these days, I'm searching for home. What does home mean? And as far as folks who are immigrants to this country, home is a big
Everything.
Big sort of deal. So have you sort of explored those themes at all in your music, or are you finding that you're leaning more towards that these days?
I'm leaning more towards it these days. Yeah. I actually played a gig not too long ago, and I stripped it down. Usually I have backup singers, my piano synth player, some backing tracks, because there's just a lot going on in my tunes sometimes. It was just all organic, just me and the rhythm section. No backup singers or anything, no backing tracks, and just kept it acoustic because I've been trying to find a different connection from my songs. I mean, I wrote those songs several years at this point, released them 2 years ago. So I've been finding lately, every time I go listen to them, rehearse them, it's not filling something in me anymore. And I find myself listening to more artists from back home and more folk-related music. And I feel the songs I'm writing lately are leaning more towards into that. It's just me and my guitar again, which is so nice. I'm not hearing a full body of sound in my head anymore when I'm writing. So I'm trying to lean into that. And I think it's something to do with that. Yeah.
So we met at Mohawk College. So I've asked other people this, but with the closure of this school, there's this kind of grief that I've experienced as far as the music community is concerned in Hamilton. And I'm wondering what your experience has been like.
I heard, I think, as a lot of us did before it officially came out. Yeah, I made just a sentimental post about it on Facebook and just being like, this is such a disappointment. Something like the arts that's used every single day by everyone, whether you know it or not, is the least funded. And let's face it, that's why it's closing. I was expecting it to change. I think even when we were in the program, it was already changing. So I expected it to go in another direction, but it going away completely, And then I believe at McMaster too. It's like there's something going on there too. And it just means, oh, so now there's actually no post-secondary education for musicians in Hamilton. Hamilton, which is such an artsy city, where like that voice isn't being catered to. It's really sad.
What do you love about the music scene, the art scene in Hamilton?
I love that it's more about expression than anything else. No one's trying to be the mainstream it person, I feel. I mean, there's Golden Feather, who's this funky, amazing band. There's me, who's like indie pop, which I think indie is pretty thick in Hamilton. Chelsea Reynolds just came out with a country song. The first gig I played this year was a Valentine's Day gig. And it felt full circle because I was opening for Chelsea Reynolds because she was celebrating her first release. And she opened for me when I was celebrating my first EP release. So she's an artist, especially in Hamilton, where I feel the collaboration is happening so organically and naturally. And I mean, we'll know we'll always have each other's backs. And we're talking about co-writing. Does anyone co-write in this city? Why aren't we co-writing together? You know, we're nice people.
What are the things, or what is the thing that frustrates you about being a musician in Hamilton, about the music scene in Hamilton?
Well, obviously our venues being closed down every feckin' week is very frustrating. I have to say, and I don't know if this is controversial or not because I am for the people and sharing our music, I think we underpay ourselves. I think we underpay fellow musicians. I mean, we're working our asses off to put on a show and to, you know, produce music and release it. I think we need to do that more, just have more confidence in ourselves to do that and to be able to put on different types of productions. It's frustrating that there's not more places that you don't have to pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars for to put on maybe a different type of show instead of line up, headliner, you're done, you know? And then also, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe I'm just missing the mark, but I feel like there could be a lot more collaboration and that means a lot more people coming to your shows. I've noticed, I don't know if you've noticed, that when there's a bill, when there's a lineup in the city, it's all the same genre. Why is that?
Yeah.
Why don't we mix it up? Why isn't there multiple genres throughout the night? And we're all good whenever we create bills, which we have to create ourselves, more so than not because venues don't really do it. We end up just going to, oh, that band's kind of like me, that band's kind of like me.
It seems like it's hard for these venues to take chances on Hamilton artists because they want a guaranteed turnout.
Well, let's talk about that guaranteed turnout. Because I feel it's been really on the artist to bring out the turnout. Why can't the venue be a guaranteed turnout because it's a great place to hang out? I feel also there's a bit of disconnect between the venue and the artist. I feel like it should be a collaborative effort on bringing out a bunch of people, a room of people. Venues shouldn't be looking at musicians as just how much money am I going to make that night? And I understand, at the end of the day, it's a business. I get it. But you decided to set up your space for the arts. So why not make it a place where people who enjoy art want to go to? The more modernized and the more music is dependable on social media, aren't we wearing more, like, enough hats already? And I'm happy to do the work. I'll do the work, even the shit I don't want to do, because there's people who are better at it than me. But yeah, when it comes to me using your space, like, why do you want me here? Other than footing the bill, like, why do you want me here? Why do you want artists here? What are you trying to say with your space? Let's try say it together. Like, and as me, as a Hamiltonian who wants to go to shows, why do I want to come to that venue other than the artist that's playing there? I'm not saying there's not venues like that anymore. There definitely are. But I remember back in the day, like 10 years ago, when we'd be rocking out at This Ain't Hollywood or Baltimore House, and like you felt that collaborative effort of we love the arts. We want to collaborate with you. Let's make this happen. And it was always a full room. And I understand COVID happened. Pandemic really switched things around for the whole world. But I think we can easily get that back, and I think it starts with collaborating with each other.
I find your show so interesting because it seems like you put a lot of thought into it. Like
Thank
it's very
you.
intentional.
Thank you.
So what is your process when kind of doing a show?
Yeah, no, you're right. I'm very intentional. I just don't know if the game anymore is quantity over quality. Because like we were saying, who the hell's coming out to me twice a month?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I think I put a lot of pressure on myself because I don't want to be another generic Friday night lineup. And there's nothing wrong with that, but there's just something in my head where I'm just like, what can there be extra for people to come out? What is so special about this show other than the other show down the road, who's also a great musician? Anytime I do want to play a show, it's very specifically who I'm playing with, who asks me where I'm playing, what it's it for. Is there a theme? Let's get themes back. Oh my God, everyone loves a theme.
Can we do a Halloween show? Because I think we would
Halloween's my favorite time of year.
Same. I'm
Yeah,
a witch.
let's do it.
Like,
We're a witch together, baby.
yeah.
Yes.
Let's do a Halloween show.
Oh my
please.
God. Okay, done. Okay, well, we're done.
Yeah.
I have a single coming out soon in spring, early summertime. And I've been deciding how I'm going to do it. I don't want to do a generic bill lineup. I'm thinking of collaborating with just artists in general, not just musicians. While I'm playing, there's interpretive dancing beside me. Stunning. Why aren't we doing that? But yeah, I just want to put on a show. I want it to feel intentional in the theme because you can tell on stage if I'm trying to say something right there for a reason or I'm just there to, get my wheels oiled on a Friday night. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the performance aspect can sometimes be lost in our spaces, especially with the quantity thing. I've pared back on shows for some reasons, but other reasons being like, I cannot play another gig that pays me $10 and I'm putting all of this work. I have all of this equipment. I have, all of this. I just can't do it.
Because even though it doesn't seem like it, you and I have been doing that hustle in other projects for like a decade. Yeah. I'm in other bands. I was in another band. Playing shows all the time just to play shows. Mm-hmm. And that's a great way to do it, because then you meet other bands. But I've been doing it for such a long time. Yeah. So if I'm doing that, I want it to be more intentional.
If there's one thing that Eva is a vocalist. That's for sure. She sings down. What is it about the vocal medium that you find so special?
It's the most vulnerable instrument. It's the most organic. It's insanely unique to every single person. And it's the oldest instrument of all time. The instrument that has been telling stories. And I love nothing more than to tell a story and for a room of people to connect with that. Also, I'm an emotional bitch. So if I can just sing and wail about my feelings and sound cool doing it, it's the best.
Yeah. There's this myth of like when you're on stage. I think it's a myth because I've never been on stage where I like completely lose myself. I'm kind of aware. But sometimes I think I see that in you a little bit. Do you get that sometimes on stage? Yeah.
If I don't get that, it wasn't a good gig.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And where do you go to like when that happens?
I mean, literally what the song's about, but also the energy my band's creating behind me. There's like just an energy that happens in a room when people are paying attention and the band and you are in sync. It's creating a vibration you can't see, you can just feel it. And I call it my little bubble. No matter how nervous I am, the second I start singing and center myself in that bubble, I'm in it. When that doesn't happen, I'm like, shit.
What are your hopes for the music scene in Hamilton?
I hope it flourishes, partially financially, because that's what we need. We don't need another fancy restaurant. More collaboration. I think we're losing a bit of passion. It's feeling a little stale. It's feeling a little redundant. There's any type of artist you want in this city. The energy that would create with us working together. You know, you think of cities, and you hear about like how people talk about Montreal or how they talk about New York, Nashville, LA. It's like an electric hub of artists just doing a ton of shit all the time and collaborating together. And I think Hamilton could be that. I genuinely, truly do. We just need to do this more. We need to talk about it more. We need to collaborate more. I could say collaborate 10 more times in this interview. But yeah, that's my hopes for Hamilton. Yeah.
Awesome!
Yay! Thanks for having me.
Fantastic, of course.